What's up everybody, Diesel from Imagineyourgoddess here, and I'm showing you a deck profile of Dimension Police. This is my personal build of Dark Daiyusha. There's not much to talk about, so let's get underway. Go Yusha, not Die Magnum. Okay, Go Yusha does work. Anytime that you want to get into grade 3 and you ain't hitting it, Go Yusha's going to do it. Die Magnum. Anyway. 4 super dimensional die cranes. Dimensional robo die cranes. Dimensional robo draw trigger. 4 dimensional robo crit triggers. 4 dimensional robo heal triggers. And 4 Demon Eye Monster Gorgon, which is another crit trigger. Unfortunately, this crit trigger is not dimensional robo, but it's not 100% necessary. We're trying to get as many good dimensional robos in the deck as we can, but we don't want to run stands. This deck focuses on power on the Vanguard, so we need those crits. Okay? Head into the grade 1s. 4 copies of the Dimensional Robo Perfect Shield. Then 4 copies of Dimensional Robo Die Brave. Die Brave's ability is you can pull it from your soul and put it in the drop zone. Choose your Vanguard, and it gets counterblast 1 if it hits to draw a card. Okay? It's a good card. It gets you card advantage. Usually you're going to use it on a turn that you're going to be hitting, that you're pretty sure you're going to be hitting. Early in the game is fine, or late in the game when you're hitting with a high number. I go ahead and use it. It's worth the pressure at least. So, then Dimensional Robo 10k attacker, Die Tiger. Die Tiger is a 10k attacker, and often he ends up in the front row in this deck because you're not worried too much about your rear guard rows. You want to get some power on the board. It is not a defensive strategy, so using the 10k Vanguard is fine. Okay, then finally I run 1 copy of Glory Maker. I like having Glory Maker as the back for Daiyusha. It makes it another 1,000 block. So I go ahead and do it. Grade 2s, we got the Die Dragon, the Dimensional Robo 12k attacker. Getting 17k columns or better on the side is a good thing. Do it as often as you can. 4 copies of Die Fighter, the 10k vanilla for Dimensional Robos. Again, more dimensional robos, more steady columns, whatever you can do. Finally, 4 copies of Dimensional Robo Kaizard. Kaizard is a mini break ride, as we like to call them. When a Dimensional Robo rides this unit, choose your Vanguard, and it gets 5,000 until end of turn. Often you will be riding into Daikaiser, and you want to make Daikaiser a 16 plus a booster, just to add that little extra bit of pressure. Hopefully you're going to ride into this, but if you don't, it's still a 9k attacker on the side, which means a 7k behind it makes a 16k column. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Okay? Moving into grade 3s. As you probably would have guessed, I have 4 copies of Dimensional Robo Die Kaiser. He's the break ride. When you break ride, you can counterblast 1. Give the Vanguard 10,000, give it an additional crit, and give it the ability that if you check a grade 3, you get to break a shield. This works really well with the 4 copies of Reverse Daiyusha. Okay? I don't run any copies of regular Daiyusha because I don't run anything that will boost regular Daiyusha to get the additional crit. So there's no point in running them unless you're trying to hit that 13k. This is not a defensive deck, so you are not looking to cross-ride. You want to attack with your Vanguard hard and strong. Okay? That extra boost of checking a grade 3 and breaking a shield. A lot of people will tell you to run more grade 3s than 8 in order to hit that more often. I find that to be unnecessary and unwieldy. If you want to run more grade 3s, that's fine. That's on you. That's your life. That's your deck. But when I play this game, I want to hit my numbers the way I'm supposed to hit them. I want a 1, I want a 2, and I want a 3 when I'm supposed to get them. If you add more grade 3s, you are messing with your ratios. and that will get you a whole heap of trouble more often than not. So I run 8 grade 3s, and I hope for the best with Daikaiser's effect. But most of the time, it's the plus 10k and the additional crit that I care about. Because reverse lets you lock 2 units and counterblast 1. The units have to be dimensional robos, hence all the good robos in the deck. To choose one of your opponent's vanguards and give them neg 10 until end of turn. That turns an 11k into a 1 and a 13k into a 3. Almost every number you attack is going to be a good number against a 1k. Okay? But, in particular, let's say you get the god hand for this deck. You break ride over Daikaiser with reverse Daiyusha. Use that break ride ability. Then use Daiyusha's ability. And put a Glory Maker behind Daiyusha. So you're talking about 21, 31, double crit versus a 1. Essentially making it a 41 against a regular size Vanguard. Your opponent either has to have a perfect shield or has to have some crazy hand advantage to get around that. And even if they can get around it for the turn, you've still got turns after that to try to make it work. Okay? Now, with these decks, one of the things I like to stress to people is what it's good against. One of the big decks that I find that it works really well against is Chaos Breaker Dragon. Chaos Breaker is very good at gaining advantage through its effect. That is, when something becomes unlocked, you can Soul Blast, retire that unit, and draw a card. Okay, now, when you use Reverse Daiyusha, you're going to be locking your own units. So you're going to cause yourself issues with Chaos Breaker's effect. That's only if it manages to live through the turns you're giving it advantage for. Yes, it gets more cards in hand, and that's rough. But, on the upside, you're not going to have any rear guards for them to lock for the next set, and then you're going to get another chance at attacking the Vanguard when it's at 1. You end up keeping hand size in this deck by keeping things off of the columns as long as they aren't helping you. You don't throw down a 9k just to have an attacker against a 7k Vanguard, unless you think it's going to pull you a game. Most of the time you leave those cards in your hand until you're ready to use that Daiyusha and get that moving. In the meantime, Daikaiser hits pretty hard already. When he's boosted, he gets an additional 2k, meaning he works well against break rides as well. Usually, you're just going to ride into Daikaiser and wait it out. But if you have to ride into reverse without break riding, it's good too. It's not a bad move. So, that's the deck. I hope you guys give it a shot. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you later.